Last night I explained why I'm critical of Labor, the Prime Minister and others for continuing to criticise Israel over the Middle East conflict. This just plays into the Hamas propaganda war. It gives licence to the anti-Jewish haters at a time of rising anti-Semitism, and it fails to grasp the absolute necessity for Israel to eradicate all Hamas terrorists in order to protect their people and assure their country's survival. The point is that Hamas clearly is hiding in and under Rafah. Israeli hostages are being held in and under Rafah too. 2 were rescued earlier this week. And the international pressure should be on Hamas for starting this war, for killing innocents, for continuing to terrorise people, for deliberately putting the Palestinian people at risk, for using them as human shields, and for keeping the hostages, raping, terrorising and killing many of them. It's Hamas that is at fault, it's Hamas that is evil, and it's Hamas that was in control of Gaza and remains now still in control of much of Gaza. And it's Hamas that could end all this in an hour by handing back the hostages and surrendering its terrorists. Yet now Australia has doubled down on its pressure against Israel, warning it not to attack Rafah.
Large-scale military operations in densely populated areas risks extensive civilian casualties. Australia believes this would be unjustifiable. Our message to Israel is listen to the world, do not go down this path.
Australia trying to run Israel's war for it. And worse, Prime Minister Albanese has joined with the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon reiterating this point. What a sorry trio. This is Australia going weak on Israel, running with the soft left, unrealistic views of the United Nations crowd. Their joint statement opens with a salvo against Israel. We are gravely concerned by indications that Israel is planning a ground offensive into Rafah. A military operation into Rafah would be catastrophic. Imagine telling an ally that has been attacked as often and as terribly as Israel that they should not fight back against their attackers. Where is the consideration that letting Hamas continue will be catastrophic? Catastrophic for Israel and for Palestinians. And where's the condemnation of Hamas for hiding in Rafah, for operating out of tunnels underneath Rafah, for putting all those civilian lives at risk by trying to use them as human shields? What sense of reality and humanity fails to make those points first and foremost directed at Hamas, the terror authority that's run Gaza for almost 2 decades? Instead, we get a mention deep in the statement, reading like a box-ticking exercise, saying Hamas must lay down its arms and release all hostages immediately. We again unequivocally condemn Hamas for its terror attacks on Israel on October the 7th, as if that's all they've done wrong. That should be the first point anyway. That should be where the focus of all the international pressure is. The international community should be demanding that Hamas evacuate Rafah, surrender their terrorists and hand over the traumatised hostages who have been held in unspeakable circumstances for more than 130 days. How could this not be front of mind, the first argument for any politician or nation that values freedom and human rights? Hamas's greatest weapon is the way it marshals political propaganda globally against Israel. And Australia, like so many others, is being suckered down that tragic path.